Hello everyone. So in this episode of our C++ Unreal Engine RTS series, we are going to work on selecting characters. So here you can see when I click on these actors, they are selected, and when I click on someone else, the previously selected actor is deselected and the next one is selected. So we are going to implement this with C++. So yeah, we will be using input actions, and then we will determine actor under the cursor and then select it. So yeah, everything will be handled in C++, and we will just add some simple actor component just to show that the actor is selected. So yeah, these are the things we are going to work on. And before we get started, let me remind you that you can download the project files of this project and all other thousands of projects I have done from the Patreon page. I'll leave the link in description below. Once you become a member, you can download anything without any limits. Also, here you can watch all other episodes as well of this series if you are interested. Also, this playlist contains somewhat similar things, but all of them are done in Blueprint. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check that as well. I'll leave the link in description for that too. Okay, now let's get back to today's episode. Okay, so this is what we have right now. With our pawn, we can move around and we can see the world. The next thing I want to do is how to select these characters. When I click on them, they should be selected, and then something should appear underneath them to show that they are selected. Okay, so how do we do that? So first, let's open our player controller. This is the blueprint child of the C++ player controller class, and here we have the class. So right now we only have input mapping and setup input component. So to here in our pawn, we have already added an input action like this for zoom action, and we bind it to a function. So this is in the pawn, and I need to do the same thing, same kind of input action into the controller pawn as well. So I can bind it to implement select function. So here let's start a private section, and here let's add a input action. Instead of zoom, let's call it select action, and we get an error because we haven't included the required header file, but let's just forward declare it instead of adding the header. Okay, so actually we don't really need to have it under. Now in order to bind this into a function, we need a function as well. Maybe let's move it here. It's private. No, let's put it after public section. Okay, now to add a function, let's add a protected function. Let's call it void select action, and we need to pass f input action It should be passed as a const f input action value value. Okay, this should be input, not input. This also needs to be forward declared. Okay, now let's implement this. Here, for now, let's just add some UE log just to show that this event is firing, this function is firing. Temp display text, what should be select action. All right. Now we need to bind this into the input action that we defined, select action. Maybe we should have a different name, both the select action. So I'll name the function just select. So there are no confusions. Okay. Now we need to bind select action into select. So we can do that just like we did it here for the pawn. So get the input action component, get the enhance input component and bind it. So let me copy this. Comment. Let's go here. Paste. Control V. So we get errors because we haven't included the required header files. So let's include them. And this should be select action. And this should be a top-down controller instead of a top-down player controller. And select. Not that. Select. Yeah. And yeah. And here we get an error because we don't have such a variable, but we do have something called input component because this is a controller class, player controller class. So let's compile and see if we got any errors. We do f input action value. Okay, I have used it as a class, but it is a structure in the forward definition. Yeah, it should be a struct. Okay. Just a minute, let's make sure that we have included the header file. Let's try again. Sorry. Your input action should remain as a class and this should remain as this should be the structure. Sorry about that. Now it should be all good. Yeah. Okay, now let's open. Here we have the additional slot for select action. So we only have move and zoom. So let's create one for select. A select and it should be a digital ball. Let's add it to our mapping context. Select. Okay. Let's bind it to left mouse button. So just, yeah. Now let's assign select action to select action variable. Okay. File. Should we, if I play now, we should get select action. Yeah, we do select action. But the thing is, as long as I hold mouse click, I get select action. So that's not the way it should work for a selection. It should only work once per mouse click. So we can actually fix it here. Maybe instead of this triggered, let's use completed. So let's delete this and add to completed. But one more thing, you can see what are all the options available for you. Cancelled, completed, none, ongoing. So I'm going to use completed. So I think it should fire once I click and release. Let's compile and see. Okay. Yeah, click and release. Yeah. So now it only works once. So that's exactly the way I need it to be. So the next step is identifying the actor underneath the cursor when we click. So for that, there is a function called something like get actor underneath. Yeah, get hit result on the cursor. For that, we need a hit result object. Not that, just hit result. And get hit result on the cursor. So collision channel. Maybe let's use the camera collision. This is already there by default, but if you like, you can have a custom channel as well that only blocked by selectable actors. And what's this next? Be trace complex? Maybe not. Hit result. We can pass the hit result object we created. Okay. Now we can check if we have a valid hit result. Hit result. Get, let's say, there should be a way to get the hit actor. Why can't I get that? Why not this suggestion come in? See? Oh, this is not a pointer. I forgot that. So let's get it into a different actor. Selected actor equals hit result get actor again. Why do I keep making the same mistake? Okay, now we can check if we have a valid selected actor. If yes, then let's print its name. So UE log temp and display text like selected actor with the actor name. Selected actor, get name. Okay, let's compile. Okay, now yeah, now we see when I click landscape 0. So even if maybe we don't have collisions for the phone. Let's see, capsule. It's set to overlap all dynamics. So everything is set to overlap. So I need to make sure that it's blocking. So we can do that in the C++. Here is the capsule. Here, capsule component. Set collision profile name. Collision profile. Pawn profile name. Okay, so this will assign pawn collision preset into our base pawn. So let's compile and see. Should be good. Yeah. See? Okay, so here you see this reset to default icon. Now you can see the default is pawn. So now we should be able to select it. Let's see. Like here. Okay. PPCLM base pawn. So that means this we are now actually detecting these pawns. So our system is working. Yeah, this should be simple as I think I missed that, but that's not. So next thing is we need some visual indicator into our pawn so that we can see our pawn is selected. So here let's add maybe another static mesh component, something like a cylinder, so that we can make it visible when the actor is selected and invisible when not selected. So instead of this, use static mesh component. We call it let's just call it selected indicator. Yeah, that's suitable. Okay. Now we need to create this component. We don't need to add any header files. It's available by default. Okay. So here, create selected indicator. Select indicator equals create default subobject. Type is static mesh. Use static mesh component. And the name text. I'll use the same name as the variable name. And we need to set this setup attachment. Selected indicator, setup attachment. Let's attach it to root component. And also we don't need any collision for this. So let's disable collisions. And also we need to make sure this is hidden by default. So set hidden game to true. So when we select, we make this false. Yeah, to disable collisions. Set collisions enabled to false. No. Okay. All right. Not a board. Okay, let's compile. Good. So here we have the selected indicator. Let's assign a mesh. Maybe this one may work. So since this is a plugin, I don't want it to be use any engine content. I want it to be like an independent module. So let's, in the plugins, let's duplicate this mesh. Drag and drop and drop down utilities content. Make sure to copy, not move. Maybe we need a different folder. Meshes. The okay, over there, and also let's create a material as well and color. No, it's not suitable to call it meshes, so let's just call it assets. Okay, color. We just need something simple, so just a simple color. Maybe let's make it white. No, let's make it red. Also, this is a selection, so maybe let's make it unlit. Right. Okay. Now we can assign this color. Right. Let's assign this to the cylinder. Okay. Now let's assign that cylinder here. So the reason that I didn't think of using a decal is because decal also gets on the character, but I'm sure it can be fixed, but let's just keep things simple for now. Adjust the size of this, this one. Okay, now let's make it a bit transparent. So it looks more like a, not a world object, more like a pure Y object, something. Okay, now we see that in the editor, but if we go into the game mode, you see it's not visible. That's because by default it's hidden in game. Now we need the function to select and deselect character. So wait, select actor. And I'll make it a U function, even though right now I don't want it to make callable from blueprints. I still need to add the U function macro. Okay, so select actor and deselect actor. Okay. Maybe it's better to have a select actor and pass a boolean to whether to select or not. Yeah, why two functions? Okay, can call in select or not just select. Okay. Then so we can get the selected index, no, indicator. Indicator, why am I not getting this? Oh, I have added it in the controller pawn. No, sorry. We should have added it to our base pawn. Sorry about that. Let's go here. Select the indicator. Set hidden in game. So here, if we need to select this, we need to pass a false because it's not hidden in game. If we need to deselect, we need to pass a true. So if we pass none not of select, this should work. Okay. That's all. Now we can call this from our controller. So right now, I'm not worried about having different type of selectable actors that we can select, because in the game, we may have like buildings, vehicles, other selectable things, not just actors, not just character types that may or may not be child classes of the base pawn. So later on, we might need to use a selectable interface, but right now, to keep things simple, let's cast this selected actor to a base pawn type and then call the select function. So base pawn, so CLM base pawn selected pawn cast. So we need to include the header file. Yeah. Cast a CLM base pawn selected actor. Okay. And if the casting is successful, that means we have a valid actor in the selected pawn. Then let's call selected pawn select actor with a true. Okay, now let's test. Compile. Done. Okay, it's working. Okay, so it's working. but the first selection is also still there. So we need a way to deselect. So here, instead of having this here, maybe let's add it as a private variable in the class. So be your property, but no need to access them from blueprints as of yet. So 𝐂𝐿 for defined, that's the comment just in case I forget. Selected base for now here, instead of having a local variable, we can just do a selected bond. But before that, if we already have a valid reference in the selected bond, we can deselect it. So selected bond, select actor with a false. This is to deselect previously selected actor. This is to select newly selected actor. Select new actor. Okay. And now yeah, it's working, and it deselects the previous one when I select another actor. So yeah, it is working as expected. That should be enough for today. So thanks for watching. As always, updated Ready files will be available here, and next time let's work on how to issue commands so that we can move around selected actor in the world. So let me know if you have any questions in the comment below. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.